Welcome to a special edition of Carpool Aftermarket with myself, Mark Field, IWF Chief Executive, and Annie Sutton. Annie is the editor of all our Carpool Aftermarket videos, and she's tasked with bringing everything to life.
Hello.
So we are actually now in a golf buggy rather than the vehicle that we take. It's the start of our IWF summer golf day, so we're going to go for a little spin.
And I'm going to ask Mark some very in-depth conversation.
Questions.
So Mark, I know you've just introduced yourself, but introduce yourself again.
So I'm Mark Field, IWF Chief Executive. I have 24 years in the automotive aftermarket, and I've worked in various different roles in sort of media, in publishing, worked for a trading group, and also now obviously in my role as IWF Chief Executive.
How long have you been in the industry? I know yesterday you did a bit of a speech. And you spoke about your path, how you got into the industry, but how long have you been into it?
So about 24 years, and then various different roles. And I think I've always been, I guess I started as a media person more so than an aftermarket person, and then I've kind of become an aftermarket person. So
yeah,
we're getting bibbed at now. It's always been important for me to be surrounded by good people. I think I mentioned that yesterday.
Yeah.
There was a lot of heart and energy. Look at that over there.
Oh well, I don't know if they can see.
It's a person. I don't know if you can see that, but looks like a football player.
Yeah, football kit.
Maybe it's someone that you need to hit, which is possibly the case when we play our golf day later on. So no, always been in the aftermarket, and really enjoyed my time. And obviously, hopefully, there's many more years to go. And I think that we are a people business. We do like a gossip, but we're changing as well. There's a lot of diversity. There's a lot more about us than what I think we give ourselves credit for. And I think that came out yesterday in our summer conference.
Yeah. So you just touched on the summer conference there yesterday. There was a lot of speakers, a lot of different journeys for men and women in it. What would you say was your key takeaway from it?
I think the key thing for me is we are looking at a time when we're always asking, why haven't we got people coming into the trade? What's wrong with us almost? What's wrong with our trade?
Yeah.
And I don't think there is anything. I think we just need to change our perspectives at times and say, well, actually, open ourselves up to reframing our businesses and our people, because as it was said yesterday, 25% of the workforce are Gen Z. Well, they will be in the next year or so. So I think that the big thing for me is that we onboard people in areas in our industry which is probably more so at the independent garage, and we lose people. So the key thing for us is that we don't lose people. We make sure they stay in the trade. They might have. We heard from Tia yesterday. Tia from East Coast College, that she was apprentice of the year, and she's kind of struggled with a pathway. So we as a whole industry have to sort of work together and make sure that we can say we've got lots of opportunities, whether it be as a motor factor, whether it be as working with a supplier. There's so many different roles in our industry, and I think now is the best time to be in the automotive aftermarket with everything that's going on. That was a long answer to your short question.
It was actually, and it kind of answered my next question, but you kind of touched only a little bit. But going off of that, what would you say is needed in this industry? Like, what's the next big thing?
I think in terms of what's needed, I think we've got to be not be afraid to have some tough conversations. We've got to be able to look at ourselves and say, right, we're not perfect, we're not half bad, but we're not. We've got to be afraid to say, actually, we want to embrace change. And I think that we are always looking at different things and thinking, well, we can bemoan the fact that we're not as popular as we were, or we're not going in a certain direction, and we argue about the same things we've argued about for the last 20 years or so, which could be price or various different things. But I think just opening up ourselves a bit more, trying new things, going out of things, and doing different stuff. He hates me. that guy hates me. The van hates me. So I just think it's Yeah, and I think what's good yesterday is whenever we, there was almost taboo subjects in our trade. let's raise the level of debate. Let's mention these things. Let's say these things, and let's open ourselves up.
Yeah.
Let's get
definitely.
personal, which I think we do.
We do that very well.
Let's push our boundaries, which is what I'm doing on this golf cart. So we go a bit faster. See how fast it can go.
Oh my God! Everyone pray for me.
This isn't that fast.
He's rousing it now.
Yeah.
So Mark, big question.
Okay.
What's the next thing for Mark Field?
Well, I think after these last 2 weeks, the next thing for
Holiday.
me is probably holiday and my children. I was very lucky yesterday that my 2 older children came to our summer conference. Dropped in to see me, probably because they'd either ran out of money or they really did think, well, where are you? So I don't know. I'm hugely ambitious, I guess. I think I'm really passionate about this trade and want to see, and I think that from a personal point of view, IWF, is hopefully I'm good for the federation and its members, and hopefully they see value in me, which is the most important thing if I'm not offering them value. But IWF is really good for me to bring my ideas and my vision for where we want to go, and I think hopefully it's a lovely marriage, and I have fantastic support from the board, from Craig, from Lawrence and Richard, but also from the members and the council, and again, just we might not get everything right, we really won't, but I think if we're trying, at least we can say we tried, and that's a big thing for us, and that's key to our ambitions going forward. So I'm 3 years in the role, and we got a 5-year plan. I need to do a lot of work on some other aspects of the federation, but everyone knows me. I'm in the sense that I don't mind putting in the hours. So
amazing. Okay, so the last person asked a question.
Yep.
Mark, I believe.
From BM Cats.
From BM Cats.
Yep.
Yeah. But you answered it kind of, and it was if you could invite 3 people
for dinner.
Yeah, a dinner party. Who would it be, dead or alive? But you couldn't think of the third person. So now you've had a bit of time. Who would be the third person? And you can also tell them.
Okay.
The other 2 people.
I guess it was an interesting one. I think one of the first people that came to my head because Bobby Robson was my first guess, because I don't know why, but I love Bobby Robson, and I'm not obviously he was a Newcastle manager but also England manager, and I think I love watching football, and I'm an Aston Villa fan, so I really do like watching football, and we're doing incredibly well, but I always thought he held himself so well. He really really put the hours in, and he loved what he did, and I admire that. The second person I get was Barack Obama, and I just thought, again, there was a great orator in what he was doing, and what he was trying to do, and I think that he had lots of people trying to block him at every opportunity, but he stayed as true as he could, and I don't think we can all learn a lot from that. And then I guess the third person,
the tricky bit,
the third person. It's a difficult one.
You've had all this time to think about the third person.
Do you know what? I'm gonna go deep.
Oh no. Are we ready?
Yeah. Be my dad.
Ah. Yeah. Very nice.
That's it.
Last question though. What is the next question for the next person?
Oh.
You've got a leave question.
Oh, this is new. Normally I'm asking the questions.
Yeah, I know. Think on the spot here.
What would you say to your 16-year-old self?
Oh, that is deep.
Thank you. Thanks, Annie. Thanks to everybody for all your support. I hope you've enjoyed this special edition of Carpool Aftermarket. Yeah.